Today we're taking a look at one of the coolest composters that I've ever seen. I'm going to go over why it's so great and why you might want to consider building one. Let's get after it. If you're anything like me, you might spend many an evening trolling Craigslist for farm-related objects, and if you're not, well, I feel sorry for you. Well, on one of my recent Craigslist trolling sessions, I stumbled upon a very unique composter. I saw it and I thought, damn, what is that thing? I think I know what it is, but I'm not totally sure what it is. Yet, I gotta have it. So a few emails later, a couple days later, and I've picked up one of the coolest composting systems that I've ever seen. It's something that I think is gonna make worm composting super easy on the home scale. The reason it's so amazing is because it can make vermicomposting so easy. All the traditional problems associated with home vermicomposting are gone with this system, which is one reason why I love it so much. All right, Diego, enough foreplay. Let's have at it and give me the main course. Where is the composter? I'm actually sitting on top of it. This is it. This is what I'm affectionately calling the worm cube, the lover that I found on Craigslist and hopefully gives me a lifetime of happiness for only 60 bucks. This thing, this is actually a composter. I mean, it looks like a cooler, it looks like a kegerator, it looks like a beehive. Yes, it's actually a worm composter. Hey, anybody want to buy a popsicle? Popsicles, right here. Come and get them. Let me be very clear up front. I take no design credit for this at all. This is something that I found and I bought. Whoever did design it put a lot of thought into the design and actually a lot of thought into the craftsmanship, because this is a very nice, overbuilt home vermicomposting system. So thanks to whoever made this, I'm glad to have it. Know that it's in loving hands. If you've ever tried vermicomposting at home, you've probably used something like this, a tote, where you simply drill some holes in the bottom, you put your food scraps in, put the red wigglers in, and the red wigglers eat the food scraps, turning it into vermicastings, which you can then use in your garden. The biggest problem with this system is it's a closed system. There's no way to sort out the castings and worms easily. There's no way to sort out the stuff that's been digested with the stuff that's fresh. Now I know Worm Guy is going to give me all sorts of techniques on how you can actually do this, but in my opinion, it's a very inefficient system because of one reason. What is that reason? What makes this so inefficient? We have a cube here and we have one side missing. So one entrance, one exit, and they are one and the same. So anything that goes into the bucket and comes out of the bucket has to come through this part of the bin. So if you want to get anything that's down at the bottom of this bucket, you have to dig down, get it, and remove it. It's inefficient. The best scenario would be if we could add stuff to the top and we could harvest it from the bottom. And that's exactly what the worm cube does. Given that this is a flow-through vermicomposting system, how does it actually work? Well, we have a cube and on top we have a lid. We can open the lid. Once we open the lid, the composting can begin, because this is where we're going to be adding all of our worms and food scraps into this central drum. While the composter looks square, cube-like on the outside, on the inside, it's actually a drum, a cylinder. So that's where we'll be putting all of our food scraps. The great thing about this system is it's actually a flow-through system, so we can add scraps here and we can harvest them down here. This is where all the magic actually comes out, because at the bottom of the drum, there's a screen that stops everything from just gravity falling out and restricts it enough. There's an agitator on the inside. When you turn the agitator, all the finished vermicast goes into this bin, which is conveniently located right below the drum. And here is where you have your nicely finished vermicompost. The beauty of this is there's no digging. We're always feeding the top and harvesting from the bottom. And the mechanics of the design allow us to do that bottom harvest that you couldn't do in a traditional bin system. So once the system's running, we just keep adding food scraps to the top, and then periodically we turn that central shaft. That puts some vermicompost into the collection bin below, and we can then use that in our garden or in our potting mix. The system may look small, but I think it's really a great size. It's a 20-inch diameter, 20-inch height on the cylinder, and I think that's sufficient given that it's a flow-through system. Keep in mind we're adding scraps to the top, we're pulling them out the bottom. It's a flow-through system. It's not as though we're putting contents in here and just letting them sit and sit for a long period of time and then pulling it all out. When we add scraps in, we pull other stuff out. That inherently keeps the level about the same at all times, so we don't need a ton of capacity in a system like this. Overall, I love this design, and the bad thing about it is there's probably one of these in the world. So what I want to do in future videos is just talk more about flow-through vermicomposting systems, possibly build one, maybe look to re-engineer this one. So if you want to know more about this exact system, the worm cube, let me know in the comments below, and maybe we can start taking this apart and looking at how it's made so you can make it at home. And we can look at other larger scale flow-through vermicomposting systems that are easy to build at home, because I really think vermicomposting is a great way to deal with food scraps, and it provides a great additive to garden soils and potting mixes. The problem is there aren't any really great ones for sale on a home scale, so if you want one, you're gonna have to get lucky on Craigslist or find one. Thanks for watching this video. Until next time, be nice, be thankful, and do the work.